welcome to a new video. Before I get into my review of The Lost Hero by Riordan, I wanted to give you an update. I know maybe not everyone on my channel will be seeing this, so sorry if you hear this repeated a couple times in the next couple of videos, but I have been really struggling lately to get into filming wrap-ups. It just takes a lot out of me to film them. I don't think they're that fun to produce anymore. A wrap-up to me is starting to feel like 10 or however many books I read that month reviews back to back to back to back, and it's kind of exhausting. It's really hard to remember things about the books. So as you can imagine, if I read a book on January 1st and I have to review it on January 31st, it's a bit difficult, so it's hard for me to feel excited about filming wrap-ups anymore. But to fix that, what I decided I'm going to be doing from now on is doing a lot more reviews on my channel, which I should be doing anyway, but that way at the end of the month when I have to film a wrap-up, I can just speak briefly about it and just give you an overview of my thoughts, and so they're not going to be 15-minute wrap-ups anymore. I can just be like, this book was cool, go see my review, give it a star rating, and move onward, because I think that would be a lot more fun to read, or excuse me, to film, than to have to struggle through a video of remembering what I read months ago, or 1 month ago. Hope that's going to be an okay change for everyone. I'm sorry if you don't like reviews very much, but I'll still produce wrap-ups. It's better than getting rid of wrap-ups altogether. I'm going to be reviewing The Lost Hero by Riordan today. So this book is the spin-off series that's of the original Percy Jackson and the Olympians series, and this follows 3 completely different characters: Jason, Piper, and Leo. Jason is our central character, and at the beginning of this book, he doesn't remember who he is or where he is, and so he has to figure out who he is and why he is the way he is and why his memories have been blocked out. The second character, Piper, she's been a troublemaker for a long time because she can persuade people to give her things, and she's never known why, and so she's labeled as a troublemaker and a thief, when in reality she just has this power that she has no idea how she got. And the third character, Leo, is really good at fixing things with his hands, with mechanics, and he's the troublemaker joker of the trio. And all 3 of these characters stumble into Camp Half-Blood, and they realize they are demigods. I don't know why that synopsis was at all necessary, because I'm sure you've read this book. It's so popular. I'm gonna give you an overview of my experience with the Percy Jackson series, because I think it might disclaim a couple of issues that I have with this book. So I did read the Percy Jackson series, but I read it like last year and the year before that, so I never read them as a kid. I never read them in middle school or at the age range that I should have read them. Since I was an older kid reading it, I don't think I had the best reading experience. I thought that the writing was corny. I really couldn't connect to Percy that much. I had just read so many better things that I thought that series was very juvenile, and I was hesitant if I even wanted to pick this one up after reading it, but of course I found that for $1, so I went for it. And I gotta say, I did enjoy this better. Let's just talk about it. So first things first, I did give this book 4 stars. And another bit of information, I listened to it on an audiobook for my library. I do like the audiobook narrator. I think it's the same person that narrated the original Percy Jackson series, but he can really do a lot of things with his voice, and it makes it very clear. His tone just fits the narration style, and I really like how he does it. So if you are going to get the audiobook, I do recommend it because it is pretty good. The first thing that I really want to point out about this series is that I really enjoyed these main characters as opposed to Percy Jackson. I thought Jason was so humble and honest and real. I was not expecting that level of maturity from someone from a Percy Jackson book, especially as one of the main characters. He's just very calm, and he has this normalness about him that was very refreshing in this series. Piper is very witty and sarcastic, and she's half Native American, and so you have that stigma of alienation because of her race, as well as the house she's in. There's a lot of drama behind who her parent is. I just thought that her perspective brought up a lot of relevant issues that teenagers have and that are real in society, not just, I'm a demigod, gotta save everyone. So the characters in this book are definitely more two-dimensional than Percy Jackson was, I believe. And Leo was just my absolute favorite. He reminded me of Kenji, I'm not gonna lie. He was the jokester, so there were a couple of times when he would make jokes that are very Riordan-esque that would just make me go, dialogues that's just not funny to me. But regardless, he was so refreshing, and he just added that little kick of humor, that kick of liveliness and happiness that any book about kids dying needs. So I think that the combination of these three characters was very neat, and I cannot wait to see them work together in the future as more things begin to unravel. But the main thing that I like about any Heroes of Olympus books is that I think it's so neat how mythology is integrated into it. There's nothing that can match Percy Jackson, Rick Riordan mythology books. It's done so well that whenever I read about the gods, I have this feeling of reverence. Like, they're not real, and it's a very fictionalized representation of those gods, but still as a reader I feel like they're a real person, even though they're literally a myth. I think Riordan writes them very well. I like how he writes characters in general, but especially those gods. They're just so much fun to read about. And they're woven through the plot so interestingly and so often that it's never boring, and you're always meeting something new and learning something. That's especially what's great about these books, is that you're a mythology expert when you're done with them. In this book there is an annex in the back that tells you all the gods that are in it, because I did think at one point it got a bit much because there were a couple of gods or beings that seemed like the same species, so that got a bit confusing. There were some times in the writing where I didn't like the vocabulary used, or Riordan would make a joke that I just thought was very lame and very unneeded. At this point we're breaking into like YA territory, not even middle grade anymore. The characters in this are 15, I believe, and I just think some of the jokes that are made, they're definitely not laugh out loud funny. They're more of, you're 15 and you just made that joke. Or there's a lot of exclamations that the characters use that even Percy made. It's just growing old and repetitive, and I don't like how he tries to embed that humor into it, even though it's a bit of an older series now. It's a lot less than the original Percy Jackson series. That's why I'm enjoying it, because it's not every single page you're hearing about some dumb joke that I'm like, it's not funny. Stop reiterating it. It gets so annoying after some point, and though it's a lot less in this book, I wish it was gone completely. But that's kind of Riordan's staple, is that little punch of humor, so I don't think that's ever gonna go away entirely. I think it's more of a reader problem than a writer problem, so maybe I just have to suck it up and deal with it if I want to learn what happens to the characters, which I will be doing, because I do want to continue the series if I can find them in paperback. I think 4 stars is a really lenient rating. I could have given it like 3.5, but in the end it's just such an addicting read, such a unique read. I think it deserves that solid 4-star rating. And I do anticipate that these books will just get better and better, so I'm sure sometime in the series I'll be giving these 5 stars. Let me know if you had any similar thoughts about this book. Until next time, I hope you all are having a wonderful life. You look beautiful, you look great, and I'll see you next time. Bye everyone.